All right, let's start this out. We're getting so close. I just came over here, looked at all the fittings. I got all the bolts that I'm gonna need for front and rear bags. I'm gonna go ahead and set it up so I can air it up on shop air once I get it done. I'm hoping to get this close to done today and tomorrow. So what we're doing is we're gonna split it. The 2 1/4-inch lines right here will come in at the top and bottom right there, and then this is an 1/8 inch. That's all I can find right now. So I've got an 8 1/4 fitting to go up to a cheap ball valve, and that'll screw into that. Here, let me throw it on the ground. So that'll screw into that, and then on the other end I can put a quick connect fitting. That way I can hook the shop air up to it, open this up, air up my truck, and then close this off to be able to hold it upright. So this is what we need. I mean, you can, anything you're going to do, whatever size airline you're going to do, this is what you can do is basically we're just going to tee both sides to a center point, maybe at the back of the truck. If I go ahead and run the airlines all the way to the rear, hook this up, and then we can air up the front and let it sit. And then we'll already have our airlines out the back of the truck. So I need to get my butt back outside because that's where my wife and kid are waiting on me. We've got a couple more stops. I need to stop by Harbor Freight and pick up some fine stuff. Oh God, look who's here. How you been, buddy?
All right.
Oh, yeah, you know what? I'm getting air fittings too. Talk to you later. All right. So yeah, we need to get outside and get that done. Yeah, well, I said I'm going to Harbor Freight next. All right, we already went to Harbor Freight. Then we stopped by one of our favorite Oriental restaurants. Japanese restaurant. Taste of Delight is what it used to be called. Or is it? It's called Chinese restaurant. Okay. But their food, oh my God, is on point. It's in Bryant on Highway 5. But I mean, you want to talk about, it's got all the vegetables, actual good beef and chicken and shrimp, and it brings a smile and a to our face. Their egg drop soup is to kill for, man. It is just so good. So anyway, there's a plug.
I haven't even opened mine.
Our first date, we went to this place when it was a restaurant. Now it's a drive-through area. And it's just, oh, I absolutely love it. This is mini trucker food right here, as far as I'm concerned. All right. Oh, excuse me. We're going to get our food on, then we're going outside to work on the truck. All right, got it bagged. Nah, just kidding. You got to put everything back together. Why? Because now we got to make marks as to where the tire is going to hit on the inner fender, which is probably going to be all over it. So that's where we got to jack it up. We got to measure from the bottom of this to the top of that. That's where the bottom of this tire needs to be in order for that frame to lay flat out on the ground. I've got this set up over here because this has got a little bit of air in it, but what we do is I put a screw in there so it'll hold air tight for just a little bit. I'll squish this down and then stick the stopper in there, and then that way I can take this and stick it in there and kind of figure out whereabouts I'm going to want to put this. These are the gussets that come with the kit, so those are going to be angled down like that in order to support it out right there. What you doing? You got your welding shoes on?
Yeah.
Yeah? She's got her skating shoes on. Woo!
I gotta put this in.
Her papa gave her those. That's all she's been playing with. That's her #1 toy that she loves so much. All right, let's get in here. What the hell do I have in my pocket? That hurts. Let that dig into your hip. Yes? What do you want, baby? Oh, when I get done with this, she needs me. All right, so about 4 months from now, when I'm done with the video. All right, we jacked it up. and we're hitting right there. So, well, that's because of the wiring right there. But anyway, if I get this hit just a couple more times, that's it. So yes, the whole thing needs to come out, the whole fender. So we'll be cutting all the way up into here. We got to measure straight up from here to see how far up we're going to go on that, which means we're probably going to go all the way out to where the edge of the battery box is. We might just go a little bit farther up, then take the rest of that and bend it up accordingly to wherever we need to. We still need to beat this out a little bit so that it holds everything else fine. But yeah, I'm going to get in here. This is the farthest that's ever been up in there. Ooh, we're getting there. But yeah, looks like we need several more inches there. It's actually lifting it off the block already, so I'll have to bring it back down, make some measurements. I'm going to take another cinder block, basically a 2x4 and a 4x4, and stack them on top of each other, and then keep cutting this until I figure out exactly where I got to be. I'll find the arc curve like that of the wheel, and however far up this needs to go more, I'll measure from there straight up. Then I can set my arc up there for however far it is away from the tire. So if this is, it needs 3 more inches up in order for that to lay frame and this to lay flat with the frame, then I'll measure up 3 inches all the way around the tire. Okay, because that's how far up it's going to go. Well, 3 inches up like that, 3 inches up, straight up, all the way around. You measure out like that, you're just making it bigger. And it's not going to be bigger. It's just all this. This right here is going to go up 3 inches, 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. That's not the correct measurement, but that's what we're going to be looking for. So I'm going to get that done, and I'm going to make some marks, and then we'll come back and look at where my marks are. Just wanted to get a little bit of a farther view. Man, I can't wait to get that cut. All right, here we go. We got the center block, 2x4, same as that, and then 4x4 block on top of that. Now what I did was I went under there and I made a mark. That mark is basically level with the bottom of the tire. I don't know if I put it in there all the way like I had it. Level with the bottom of the tire, basically level. It's a little bit further down than the whole tire. But now what that is the top of this block is the top of that one. That's the bottom of the frame. So this is where the ground is. So if you could imagine a hole, this is how far in the hole the tire is. So we got to get that tire up above that, but it's running into everything up here. So I'm just going to go ahead, and to make sure that I have enough clearance, is I'm going to go ahead and do the entire 4x4 block, which it's not 4x4, of course. If I use my square from the bottom here up, it's actually at about right at 3.5 inches. So I made a mark on there. And then if I put that on top of there, that's how far up I gotta cut. And what I do is I keep this basically level with the truck, and I can make a line that comes all the way down and out around the tire. See how that works? Because it's got to be all the way up and over, and we'll make a line all the way around till we get to the bottom like that. See, right where it starts to curve. That's the stuff we're going to be running into. So some of that firewall we may end up running into back there in the back a little bit. I don't know if you can see that. Basically from about here that way is what we may end up running into with the back side of the tire, because see, the farther up this goes, it's going to start pulling it in. So that would be the stuff that we'll end up running into. But that stuff right there, you can pretty much beat in with a hammer and get away with it with a low profile 18. So we'll see where we are once we get there. I got to get this line made and get this cut out, and then we'll be able to jack it up in there and see where we are after that. There we go. This is 3.5 inches up from there. And then when you keep measuring straight up, it looks higher at the top because it's straight up. This is straight up from here. So straight up and straight over and down to there. Like I said, we've got all that right here that we're going to end up buttoning into. If we cut this excess off and cut up to there, that'll give us a little bit of inlet right there. And this is more of the inner fender in the engine compartment. So we can cut that off all the way to right there. So we can cut all that off, which is what we'll do. And then the rest of this, we might end up just using, where's my, well, my sledgehammer's in the toolbox. Let me get this stuff, get this wheel off of here, because I got to get the wheel off and then drop this back down, and then I can go ahead and cut that out, put the wheel back on, jack this back up, see where we are. Before you cut, make sure that all of your AC lines, heater lines, water lines, everything is up high enough, far enough that the blade's not going to touch it. I'm going to get real close down in here with these brake and transmission lines that are down in there. So be very careful how close you're getting to that stuff when you're cutting it. And we're going to come right up against the firewall right here. So also we're going to be watching these lines, these electric lines, and all that. I've got everything pretty much pulled away. I'll end up getting close to these lines as well, so that's got to be pulled over. Make sure that's out of the way. But you think you're getting close. If you have a friend stand up there and just kind of keep an eye on it. Make sure you're not screwing your whole wiring and hoses, because that's another nightmare to have to replace all that crap. What are you doing?
All the way up there. Up until there.
Oh my goodness, look at this. It's like a tongue hanging now. I almost got it all the way out of there. Man. All I got to do is cut this one piece right here. This thing is freaking amazing. Go with the coarse tooth. I didn't know that. A lot of you guys will be like, yeah, well, yeah, duh. They've got a fine, and then they've got a coarse. And the coarse is, I think it's 24 teeth. Is that what it says? Yeah, 24 tooth per inch. And this one, the fine, is 32 teeth per inch. And the 24, the coarse, works so much better on this. So here, baby. It's still recording. Over here. You want to watch it fall out.
Well, we were going to watch it fall out.
Yeah, we're going to watch it fall out over here. It don't like me right now.
This blade has about had it.
There it is. Look at all that useless piece of material that Toyota puts in their trucks.
Over there now.
Look at this big old cavity. Let me get your leg.
You better not. I'll kick you.
Yeah, let me see that. So here we go. This big old cavity right here is now useless crumple zone. The only thing that's going to try to save your truck is the frame, but everything else is going to fall apart if you get in a wreck now. So now let's go ahead and stick the wheel back on here. We'll get this jacked back up and see where we are on the firewall and see how nicely that was cut. We can fold this either up or down to keep it out of the way of the tire, and then most of that we may end up having to hit, but let's see how far up we can get in there. All right, like we said, we need a cinder block 2x4, 4x4. Center block, 2x4, 4x4. We are on that. The reason you use the inside of the tire to measure is because your tire is cambered. Unless you did modifications for your tire to sit straight, your tire sits at an angle, which means it's sitting like this. The outside of the tire is up higher than the inside. You have to measure the inside and make sure that that's where it's supposed to be. So it is on the ground, and so is the frame, essentially speaking. So the thing is the cross member still sticks down lower, but we are building this to be able to lay frame. The transmission cross member is also your torsion bar cross member. That whole cross member sits about inch to inch and a half below. So with this, yes, I can lay frame with it the way it is now, but that's going to stop me from laying frame completely. So until that cross member is rebuilt, this will be basically over what it needs right now. But like I said, you want to build it to lay the frame. Otherwise, if you ever get around to changing your cross member, you won't lay out. You'll still be far from it. Your frame will be hanging out and you'll be bottomed out. So this is where we got to be. Next thing we got to do is we need to get in here and start looking at this. How much space you got left? None. So we need to make sure that our bag mount is going to be at an angle up, right? Because your lower control arm is angled up. So that's how that's going to sit. It's going to sit at an angle, and then we'll have the gussets in there, but it'll be a slight angle. Why? Because we're going to build this up in a way that angles back so that it's straight up. That's going to angle up. This is going to angle out. Wait, you can't see my hand. And I lowered down. This will angle from here out this way. So it is more flat this way, and the top is going to go this way as straight as possible. That way we can get both of them to meet in the middle and have your bag as flat as possible when laid out. So that's what we're going to try to do. That's what it's going to look like for right now. I need to get this freaking tire off of here and see where we are. All right, I got the driver's side done. Went all around this. Now, remember I saved, let's see if I can hold the light and the camera. There we go. Remember I saved all of these mounting. I'll be able to pull this up to here, drill a new hole. Oh, this is really hard to do. And get that pegged into there. Drill another hole, push that into there, and so forth. I've got this stuff here. It'll still be able to use the same hole that's there for that to mount. In here, I've got this wiring that's right there. I got to drill a hole and I'll be able to remount that to that. Under here, we've got this. I can re-drill a hole here and reposition that to hold that wiring back just like it's supposed to. That way it doesn't move around. And then, like I said, most of this stuff will just mount back to the firewall over here. I might have to build a bracket or something for that to mount to. Maybe where it's positioned over the tire a little bit. And then, of course, the coil will end up down here underneath on that. And then the air intake will be on top of everything, up as high as I can get it. And we'll have to figure out a spot for that canister or whatever it is. I don't know, but I don't care. It'll mount up over here somewhere. I may end up building a ledge off of that pinch weld, maybe drill a couple holes in that, and then create a little ledge that it can sit out on right here. Maybe triangulate that down to that pinch weld that I left down there. So that's what I'm going to be doing next, but actually I'm not doing all that next. We got to weld some bag mounts, and we're going to figure out those later. I've already got the measurement on the next video. Not later, next video. I've already got a measurement on the lower control arm on this side, where from the ground up where it needs to be. It's pretty much all the way. We're going to show you a trick with the lower control arms. There's two spots you got to notch out just a hair to get it to lay out nicely. You see them two marks on there? Right there and right there. Those two marks right there, if you notch those out just a hair, it'll come up to where it'll lay out those 18s. It'll even lay out 20s on a 30 sidewall. I think like a 225, what was it? 225, 30 R20 will also lay out, because I think our sidewall is a 35. Yeah, I think they're, what were they? You guys remember on those rims? 225, 230, something like that. Anyway, that right here. Keep talking about it. And there we go. 215, 35 18s. You go with a 20 with a 30 sidewall and stretch it a little bit with a 215 to 225. It'll sit a little bit lower, and it won't be much taller than this. So on a Toyota, the 18s are going to fit. 20s would fit. You'd have to smash that firewall a little farther. So if you wanted to go with 20s with maybe a 25 sidewall or a 30 sidewall, they would still lay out. And yes, these are on stock control arms. I'm not doing anything to the upper and lowers to make them bend or anything more. I am going to notch out that one spot that I talked about. But we're going to do that. Let's try and see if I can get this flipped around. We're going to do that on the next video. And that will be actually tomorrow. So this one's going to be uploaded tonight. This is Thursday night. I got Friday night. Saturday, it storms. I have to have the bags on. I want the bags on by this weekend. That's why I went and got those fittings. I plan on having them done. Meanwhile, my wife is over there working on putting all the tools away. Kathleen's running them over to the shop. So, yes, family affair. We're going to get this closed up. We bid you adieu. It is 5:30 in the evening, and it's already dark. So we're going to go inside and have dinner, watch a movie, and relax. We'll be back at it tomorrow morning sometime, and we'll get those bags on. And if we have time in the end of the day, start relocating some of that stuff so that it'll sit on those new firewalls or those new inner fenders. Man, I'm tired. I can't talk. Subscribe, thumbs up, and we will talk to you guys on the next video.